Across the country, transgender children face a new struggle as multiple states have enacted laws that impact their health care.
According to the CDC, transgender is an umbrella term for persons whose gender, identity, or expression is different from their sex at birth. A 2022 report by the American Academy of Pediatrics found young children who transition to a new gender are likely to continue as that gender 5 years later.
We go in-depth with two moms with very different views on transgender policies involving their own children.
But first, we examine a law in Missouri that bans gender-affirming medical treatment to children under the age of 17. In Missouri,
he turned to me and he said, "Daddy, do you think God could make me over again as a boy?"
She's completely fine, far more fine than she was when she was not presenting as who she is.
Two fathers fighting for their transgender children.
She is thriving.
But in the summer of 2023, the state of Missouri joined nearly 24 other states in banning gender-affirming medical care for transgender children under the age of 17. Missouri's Republican governor saying at the time, gender-affirming care is harmful to minors.
What we're trying to do is protect children. That is what this is all about. It's not about adults.
The Human Rights Campaign defines gender-affirming care as age-appropriate care that is medically necessary for the well-being of many transgender and non-binary people. And the Association of American Colleges says gender-affirming care can include a range of social, psychological, and medical services. Medical services such as puberty blocker medication, which suppresses the release of sex hormones, including testosterone and estrogen. Dr. Thomas Baranski is an endocrinologist at Washington University in St. Louis. He says puberty blockers are nothing new to medicine.
The gender-affirming hormone therapies, we've been doing this in the medical field for more than 50 years. So there's a long track record of outcomes, and there's lots of good studies to demonstrate that these treatments are effective and that they work really well.
The Association of American Colleges echoes Dr. Baranski, adding that one purpose of puberty blockers is to allow a young person time to fully determine their gender identity and how far they wish to transition before the onset of permanent sex characteristics. If the puberty blockers are stopped during puberty, hormone development resumes.
We will not allow her to be forced to be detransitioned. That's, like I said, that's non-negotiable.
In the meantime, the two dads with trans children fear for their future.
We're terrified that we are going to have to flee this state.
Laws against gender-affirming care face legal challenges in more than a dozen states, including Missouri. Legal experts say the lawsuits are likely to be resolved by the U.S. Supreme Court, which currently has a 6-3 conservative majority. Meanwhile, governors in at least a dozen states and the District of Columbia have declared themselves a sanctuary for those seeking gender-affirming care.
Transgender policies in kindergarten through 12th grade schools. How do you address names and pronouns? What can and can't be taught? Reporter Peter Zampa continues our in-depth coverage with two mothers, both with children questioning their gender identity, but with differing viewpoints on what's best for their child.
In Florida, there's a movement led by parents and politicians to stop schools from affirming the identities of trans students. I spoke with January Littlejohn. She says her kid began questioning their identity in 2020, and then the school began socially transitioning them without her knowledge.
Our daughter had come to us and said that she was confused about her sex, that she no longer felt like a girl. And when school started, she got into the car and said, "Mom, I had a meeting today at school and they asked me which restroom I wanted to use." I immediately contacted the guidance counselor at school. They could not give me any information about the meeting they had with my 13-year-old daughter because she was now protected by a non-discrimination law.
And you sued Leon County School District in 2021. Why did you do that?
They couldn't show her photo in the yearbook without my signature, but they can socially transition her. Why were the schools unilaterally cutting parents out of these critical decisions being had with no due process? She is free of any kind of sex confusion whatsoever. These children need the gift of time.
Some say January's lawsuit sparked Florida's parental rights in education law, also called the Don't Say Gay law. It bans the talk of gender identity in kindergarten through 3rd grade, and it restricts talk of gender identity in grades 4 through 12.
The conversation is going to be had anyway, because there are youth that are who they are, and they're not going to apologize for it. We already have so many of our intersections that are rejected.
Nadine Herring is an educator of 30 years and a mother of 4. I met up with Nadine outside Philadelphia to hear her family story.
What was your reaction when your child expressed that they wanted to transition socially?
My fear turned into just plain support. My being so careful and closing my child in a bubble, who can know? What do I say? Well, I don't want you to wear that. It was hurting their spirit.
How did your child's school handle the social transition?
Middle school was very, very rough, because if there's a few children who say things that are hurtful, we can handle that together. But when an adult refuses to insert themselves and protect, that became problematic. So I moved from that state to where I am now, and it was like night and day.
What can schools be doing to help transgender youth feel safe and comfortable?
LGBTQIA plus protections, something along those lines. What will you do to make sure, ensure that that child is protected? That's one thing. When a child comes to you, I'm having some challenges. I don't think ... The first thing you should say is thank you. What supports do you need? What will we call you? Do you want your family to know? Can I help you with that? Maybe the family will be supportive, but listen to what they're saying, because there are some families, if that is found out, it could be in a really, really abusive situation.
To see your child now living in a way that is most genuine, that makes them most happy, what emotions does that bring you as a mother?
I'm just so proud of my child. I'm proud, and they are living in their truth the way they want to. And you can't go wrong with that.
January Littlejohn's lawsuit against Leon County, Florida schools was dismissed in December of 2022, and she's now appealing the ruling to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. A group of 21 Republican states attorneys general have filed a legal brief in support of the Littlejohn's lawsuit.